G'day guys, this is Googs for the Drunk Philosopher. For the last 24 hours, since a very heated argument with a person I know, I decided I needed to take a chill pill myself because I was getting rather agitated. To check my bias at the door, which is something I hadn't done for a few weeks, but check my bias at the door and go to YouTube and just do some research. Now you might think YouTube isn't a great resource, but of course it is, because these days pretty much anything that happens anywhere gets ultimately recorded and put on that platform, okay? Especially in the West. So I did a search for Democrats calling for violence. I found a rather disturbing video where there were claims about people should have major unrest in the streets for 4 years, that they should bring back one bloke talking about when was the last time an actor killed a president, the demon of John Wilkes Booth and Abraham Lincoln, of course, is the reference. People saying that we should, get rid of Trump, people calling Ivanka Trump feckless cunts, all these sorts of things, horrible things about instantiating a war against those who stand against them. Then I did the other thing. Went to the Republicans. And or right wing, I won't say Republicans, because not all the people who were talking were necessarily Democrats from the other video. And I saw Richard Spencer from the alt-right, and yes, he is a conservative. I know he's a socialist, but he's definitely a conservative, talking his shit about how they have to stand and be ready, because when it's right, we're going to rise against the opposition political opponents. Talk in the streets about guns to Democrats. And I suddenly realized that my bias and everybody else's bias on this issue is not warranted. Now, I talked in my video about why I no longer support Donald Trump, about the people who are the MAGA people on top of the hill, or perceived on top of the hill, and when you fall, you're done. I still stand by that, but looking at this video and people talking about now with the impeachment of Donald Trump, once again, this is not a defense of Donald Trump. This is just observation. He incited violence, and I'm saying both sides talked violence. Hillary Clinton talked about removing Trump. Okay? These elites, the music stars, the movie stars, the politicians, the corporate interests, I don't care what side of the mantle they're on, they are geeing up people like you and me. That's what they're doing. The working class and the poor. That's who they're geeing up. They tell the democratic working class and the working poor, go out and create violence against the republics and against the police and against all the rest of the establishment, because Donald Trump's in charge, so he's the establishment, right? And the opposite is also true. And I know people go, well, you can't point out as many events. It doesn't matter how many events I can't point out. Both sides are being convinced by the elites in society, who, by the way, won't pick up a rock, won't pick up a pitchfork, won't pick up a gun and join you, even though they're calling for you to do it. This is exactly the same situation as you find throughout every civil war, actual world war, whatever. The elites, the people at the top, look to you. They rev you up. They upset you. They convince you that you have to fight for their concept of what's right, for their concept of a better moral tomorrow. This video is for the disillusioned, the disheartened, and the angry. And believe you me, I've gone through some anger in the last few days until I went, no, I have to look at this properly. This has nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with you. They don't care about you. They don't care about your life. They don't care what you're about. They don't care how many kids you have and how many mouths you have to feed and how many bills you have to fucking pay. They don't give a shit. They just want your taxes. At the end of the day, that's what this is. They want you to work. So the economy is really good, so that they've got they can put a hat on top of the fucking stand. I don't care if they're right or left. That's what this is. Don't fall for the trap. Don't fall for the media. Don't fall for Fox. Don't fall for CNN. Don't fall for whoever's about to lead the Republican Party after Trump's ousted. Don't fall for Joe Biden. Don't fall for these people. We have been listening too hard to these people. And we have been giving them not just our time, but we have allowed them to take our powers. We have allowed them to take our privileges, that we've allowed them to take many of our rights. This is our democracy. We're the numbers. Stop. Literally. That's all you need to do. Stop. Left, right, inside out, whatever. Stop. Sit down. Wouldn't be the first time in history that the working class and the poor have just gone, no, we're not doing it. We're not going to join you. And yeah, okay, the economy might tank, but it tanks because we have decided you are a bunch of dickheads and we don't want to listen no more. We demand better. The last time that happened was with the robber barons. A lot of people forget about this, but the trade unions came in early last century. The trade unions were the people who worked for the trade barons. And the government of the time, because, well, hell, no one's really whinging, let them get away with horrible things like 7-day work weeks, 14-hour days, young men dying in coal mining accidents and no one giving a shit because safety wasn't a thing. And they all sat down. That's what they did. They all sat down. Said no. We demand. We the people. We the majority. We demand from you that these big robber barons have no longer got that sort of power over us. That we can choose who to work for, how to work for them. Obviously, you've got to keep a quota and all that sort of stuff, but we want weekends and all that sort of shit. We can do the same thing now. America, you can do the same thing now. Sit down. Or lean against a tree or whatever. And just look at all these rich, elitist bastards who are all arguing with each other and using you as pawns. And stop. They can't do anything without you. You are their armies. You are their armies. Stop. You don't need to do what they want you to do. Life is really short and we all like to spend time with our kids and we all like to do our work and get our money and pay our bills. You know, bills suck, but it's a part of life. That's fine. We just want to live. That's it. So don't get angry because of politicians. Don't get angry because some elitist prick has come out and said, Republican, Democrat. No, fuck those people. Fuck the CEOs. Who the fuck are they? They are the modern robber barons. That's who they are. We need to have another people's revolution, like the last one. Sit down. No, we stop. Sort yourselves out. Or else. Okay, I guess we're all going to starve, aren't we? Because politicians aren't making money whilst there ain't no work going down. Have a nationwide strike. If they want a lockdown, do them one better. They want a lockdown, do them one better. Sit down. Don't have to be violent about it. You just don't have to be. Just sit down. Stop. Just refuse. No more. I don't want to hate my neighbour who's a Republican, says the Democrat. No, I don't want to hate my neighbour who's a Democrat, says the Republican. You don't need to do this. You are letting the robber barons win. The modern robber barons win. You are allowing the modern political establishment to win. You are allowing celebrities. Why the fuck would you listen to celebrities? They know as much as you do. And that's true. They know as much as you do about pretty much anything. Why are you listening to them? You've been rolled up for 4-5 years, probably longer. It's America. You guys have had shit after shit after shit. You had a shit president in George W. You had a shit president in Obama. You've just had all this shit with Trump. It's time to fold your arms and stop. Just stop. You want a lockdown? I'll give you a lockdown. We're all locking down. Up your bum. Try and move us. There's 330 million of us and a few hundred of you. What you gonna do? It's time that America stood up for itself, The people stood up for themselves and said, middle fingers to these elites. I'm Nathan Googs Fletcher. This is my drunk philosophy. Be good, be safe, don't be evil, and I'll see you on the next one. Hooroo!